Afternoon. I am somewhat convinced that e-girls, e-thoughts, Twitch girls, and all manner of that category of people are basically a very sophisticated and successful psychological weapon designed to demoralize, destroy, and otherwise degenerate young men. I'm going to be talking about simps. Now, before I start, I'm just going to say this flat out. I am not pulling a sort of Jack Murphy type deal where I'm sitting here saying, I'm the alpha male, and I'm going to tell you how to be a real man. All you have to do is pay me $100 a month. No, none of that. No. This is just something that, again, is observable and real. What is a simp? First off, definition. Well, a simp is a man who either spends his time, his money, his effort, effectively either worshiping, supporting, financially or otherwise, a woman who basically has zero interest in him, but is willing to pretend to have interest in him. Simp is basically shorthand for simpleton or simple-minded, because they are basically being fooled by what is basically it's a parasocial relationship presented in a very shallow acknowledgement of their existence. And that's basically it. Notable examples are e-girls, who I will not mention by name, who sit in a hot tub and for the low price of 20 of your hard-earned dollars will write their name on, I don't know, like an inflatable toy or something, and then show it to the camera, or maybe even say your name in front of the camera. And that, well, to some people is worth $20, $100, $500. Or in some cases, there have been girls that have been selling their bath water, their hot tub water, or in some cases, weirdly enough, farts in a jar. That last one is very real, and they go for about $1,000 a pop, and, well, they sold out briefly. Yeah, chew on that one for a second. Something is very wrong with young men if there's a market for that sort of thing. And not only a market for that sort of thing, but a rather booming market that has made millionaires out of a handful of celebrities. So, what's the problem with simps? What's wrong with these poor, lost young men spending their money how they wish? Well, this is the knock-on effect. These millions, tens of millions maybe, of lonely young men who are basically spending exorbitant amounts of money for the bodily fluids, diluted as they are by bathwater, and extremely shallow attention through a camera from young women, admittedly, for the most part, attractive young women. But keep in mind, this attractiveness is oftentimes augmented by things like cosmetics, filters, After Effects. Come on, guys, you should know this by now. They're using the glamour to befuddle your mind. But the problem is that there's such a booming market for this that many women have taken notice of this, and they've basically dropped every other motivation or ambition that they would have had, and they're now trying to become e-girls. They're trying to become the next big thing, and from a purely logical standpoint, why wouldn't they? Sit in a hot tub and record yourself for 20 minutes for $1 million a month? That sounds like a pretty good deal. Sign me up for that one. But the problem is, not everybody gets there. And for every one success story, there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of failed stories. And now you have all these young women who basically are, well, they're chasing an impossible dream. And not just an impossible dream, but an impossible dream that basically turns them into social vampires or social parasites, trying to effectively take advantage of emotionally vulnerable and lonely young men. And really think about that. Anybody who's willing to dedicate their life to that sort of pursuit, that can't be healthy. Emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Is it any wonder that the entire Western nations seem to be going insane in just obscene numbers at this point in time? And let's talk about the simps themselves. They spend all this time, basically spending all this attention, pining and worshiping these women who don't even know that they exist. That can't be good for their self-esteem. Definitely can't be good for their future interactions just with regular people, let alone with other women. Is it any wonder that the dating market is just absolutely screwed? It's terrifying. Now, me, personally, I've been out of the dating market for quite some time, and I've got to say, I'm glad I got out when I did. But to all the young men out there who might be shuffling down this path, don't do it. Do not give a cent of your money to these people. Not only is it having long-term negative consequences for civilization in general, not only is it destroying the relationship between men and women, well, it's just not healthy for you. Young men should be simps for themselves. They shouldn't be giving money to guys on the internet who claim to be able to teach them how to be a real man. They shouldn't be giving their money to women on the internet who say, oh, if you give me just a bit of your money every month, I'll say your name and I'll say that you're awesome. No, you should not be doing that. Nobody should be saying your name. No one should be giving you praise unless you have earned it. What these women are effectively promising is they are promising the fake feeling that you have earned an accomplishment for your money. It's a drug. It affects your mind, it hits that little dopamine receptor, and it basically trains you into being subservient. Don't fall for this trap. It's awful. It's terrible. It encourages people to just become the worst kind of predator. Or, I'm sorry, not the worst kind of predator. Those are our politicians and Catholic priests. So, that's the problem with simps. At least, a tiny scoop of the problem. This obviously has far-reaching implications that I've barely touched upon, but I hope that at least covers at least a part of it. So, in conclusion, young men, don't be simps. Women, don't chase the simp money. And parents out there, pay attention to what your sons and daughters are doing. They are the future. And at the moment, the future does not look very bright. So, as always, get out into nature, take care of yourself, drink lots of water, eat fresh fruits and vegetables and meat so long as it's available, and remember, stockpile up because those, well, I've been looking at those logistics lines and they're starting to get a little clogged. Y'all have a very nice day.